Summary of the novel, The Alchemist. Author, Paulo Coelho. Chapter 1, The Beginning of Santiago's Journey. Santiago, a young shepherd from Andalusia, Spain, spends the night at an abandoned church where a sycamore tree grows prominently in the old sacristy. In his sleep, he has a strange recurring dream. A child takes his hand, leads him to the pyramids in Egypt, and tells him that he will find a treasure hidden in secret, unknown to all. The dream is interrupted before the child reveals the exact location, leaving Santiago pondering its meaning. Waking under a starry sky, he feels a yearning to explore the world, a childhood dream that led him to abandon the path to priesthood his parents had hoped for. Carrying a thin book as a pillow and a jacket for warmth, Santiago decides to lead his flock onward, grappling with questions of fate and the concept of maktub. Everything is already written. Having studied at a seminary, Santiago is knowledgeable in Latin, Spanish, and theology. However, he gave up the priesthood due to his longing to travel and explore the vast world. Choosing to become a shepherd, Santiago roams freely across Andalusia, believing each passing day brings him closer to his destiny. His nomadic life does not make him lonely. He often talks to his sheep and feels a deep connection between humanity and nature. Santiago leads his flock to the town of Tarifa and seeks out an old gypsy woman, Zajuna, renowned for her dream interpretation. He recounts his mysterious dream about the pyramids, hoping for answers. The woman intently reads his palm, declaring that he must go to Egypt to find the treasure, but demands he promise to give her 1/10 of the treasure if he succeeds. Though skeptical, Santiago senses an urge from the dream, like a sign from the universe. Santiago feels the dream's pull, like a cosmic omen, evoking the notion of maktub, fate is predetermined. This encounter marks a turning point, prompting him to seriously consider leaving his familiar shepherd life. At Tarifa's plaza, Santiago meets Melchizedek, the king of Salem, a mysterious old man. The old man speaks of the personal legend, explaining that each person has a life purpose to discover. To test Santiago's resolve, Melchizedek asks for 1/10 of his flock in exchange for information about the treasure. Santiago agrees, showing his willingness to sacrifice for his dream. Melchizedek gives him 2 prophetic stones, Urim and Thummim, quartz once embedded in a high priest's breastplate in the Bible, the only tools God permitted for divination. Symbolizing a connection to divine will, the old man explains that the black stone means yes and the white no, aiding decisions in confusion. Sharing a story about a man seeking happiness, Melchizedek emphasizes that the universe supports those who pursue their dreams. Santiago sells his flock, carrying the 2 stones as guiding symbols, and embarks on his journey to Egypt. Chapter 2, The Start of the Adventure. Santiago uses the money from selling his flock to buy a ticket to Tangier, North Africa, carrying Urim and Thummim and his desire to find the treasure. Upon arriving at the port, he is swindled by a conman, leaving him penniless. In despair, Santiago consults the stones, drawing the black one, signifying yes, and decides to stay in Tangier. He finds work at a crystal shop owned by a kind merchant who once dreamed of a pilgrimage to Mecca but never went. The shopkeeper teaches Santiago about patience, omens, and the idea of maktub, everything happens for a reason. Santiago suggests displaying crystals outside and building a tea stand, making the shop prosper. Through this, he learns to turn hardships into opportunities, realizing that failure is part of a pre-written destiny, preparing him for future challenges. After nearly a year, Santiago saves enough money to continue his journey. He joins a caravan crossing the desert to Egypt. In the caravan, he meets an Englishman passionate about alchemy, seeking a legendary alchemist in the Al-Fayum oasis. The Englishman carries ancient books and is engrossed in scholarship, believing alchemy can transform metal into gold and reach the soul of the world, an entity connecting all living things. Santiago converses with the Englishman and begins to understand the concept of the language of the universe, a wordless communication among all things, from wind and stars to inner intuition. These dialogues help Santiago realize that observing and listening to the world around him is key to understanding his destiny. He starts noticing signs, meaningful coincidences, and hidden messages in his surroundings. Encouragement from his companion strengthens Santiago's faith in his personal legend and the concept of Maktab. The caravan stops at the Al-Fayum oasis to avoid tribal wars, a neutral territory free from conflict. There, Santiago meets Fatima, a beautiful desert girl, and is captivated by her gentle wisdom. They quickly develop a deep bond. Fatima shares that she understands Santiago's destiny and encourages him to continue his journey, asserting that true love never hinders a personal legend. Their love makes Santiago waver, tempted to stay in the oasis. However, one day, he witnesses two hawks fighting in the sky, a portent. Thanks to his sensitivity to signs, he senses an impending attack on the oasis. Santiago promptly reports to the oasis leaders, who verify his warning and successfully prepare a defense. His courageous act and ability to read omens impress the alchemist, a mysterious figure living in the oasis. The alchemist recognizes Santiago as more than a treasure seeker. He is someone beginning to grasp the language of the universe. This encounter opens a new phase in Santiago's journey, where challenges grow harsher but more meaningful. He realizes the journey is not just about finding treasure but about discovering a profound connection with the world. His love for Fatima, the Englishman's encouragement, and lessons from the crystal shop are all signs reinforcing his belief in Maktab, a pre-written destiny. Chapter 3, Journey with the Alchemist. The alchemist, a man in a white robe, appears mysteriously in the oasis, having observed Santiago after his omen about the attack. He meets the young man, revealing he is a master of alchemy, capable of turning lead into gold, and has lived for centuries perfecting his art. The alchemist is not only a transcendent figure but also deeply understands the language of the universe, how all things communicate through signs. He challenges Santiago with questions about his journey, love, and faith. Santiago expresses a desire to stay with Fatima, the girl who has stirred his heart. The alchemist warns that abandoning his quest would lead to lifelong regret, and his heart would never forgive him. He stresses, true love never obstructs a personal legend. If it does, it is not true love. Convinced, Santiago decides to leave the oasis, promising Fatima he will return. He and the alchemist embark on a perilous desert journey, guided by signs and the power of true love. During the trek, the alchemist teaches not through words but through experience. He urges Santiago to listen to his heart. The heart is the dwelling place of the world's soul. Santiago learns to be still, sensing the wind's movement, the rustle of sand, the stars, and the silence of the night as messages. He realizes every being has its own language, and the human heart bridges them to perceive the universe. One night, while resting, they are captured by a group of desert warriors. Suspected as spies, they face danger. The alchemist, unafraid, boldly claims Santiago can turn into the wind. The warriors laugh, but the alchemist persuades them to give Santiago 3 days to prove it. Failure means death for both. Santiago panics, but the alchemist offers only advice: trust his heart and the universe's language. Over 3 days, Santiago speaks to his heart, then to the desert, wind, and sun. He asks about the world's soul and the purpose of all things. He discovers that everything stems from one source: love. Love is the oldest language, a force transcending all boundaries. On the 3rd day, before the warriors, Santiago steps into the desert. Closing his eyes, he listens to the desert, imploring aid from the Levant wind and the sun. He speaks of his love for Fatima and his wish to return to her. The wind strengthens. Santiago asks the wind to carry him to the sun, to persuade it to lend him energy to become part of the universe. The sun, symbolizing life and awareness, agrees to help. To become the wind, Santiago must connect with the soul of the world. With unwavering faith, he dissolves into the air, merging with love's power and the universe. A fierce wind, the Samum, rises from the desert, swirling powerfully. The warriors, awestruck, kneel before the miracle. The commander frees them and provides an escort. The escort takes them near the pyramids. Santiago understands that love, faith in his dream, and courage to pursue his destiny enabled him to transcend his body and become part of the universe's soul. This is his first peak of enlightenment. He is no longer just a shepherd but a traveler among signs, attuned to his heart. The journey with the alchemist teaches Santiago that every challenge is a chance to understand himself and the universe. His love for Fatima is not only a motivator but proof that a heart guided by the language of the universe can surpass all limits. Santiago feels connected to the soul of the world, ready to face what fate has written. Chapter 4, Reaching the Pyramids. After a long desert journey, Santiago and the alchemist arrive at a Coptic monastery near the pyramids. There, the alchemist performs a secret ritual. He transforms lead into gold using a small glass egg containing a mysterious alchemical mixture, a symbolic and literal act of merging with the soul of the world. He divides the gold into 4 parts, one to thank the monk for lending his kitchen, one to replace Santiago's stolen money from Tangier. One part for himself, and the final part he gives to Santiago as a reserve for the final leg of his journey. Before departing, the alchemist tells Santiago a story about a Roman father and his 2 sons, a warrior and a poet, emphasizing that each person has a unique role in humanity's history. He does not reveal that the true treasure lies where Santiago's dream began. The treasure is under the sycamore tree in the Andalusian church, because he knows Santiago must see the pyramid's grandeur to achieve full spiritual awakening. Seeing the pyramids is not just a destination but the ultimate symbol of self-discovery and cosmic harmony. Santiago reaches the pyramids at night, under a full moon's glow. He kneels to kiss the sand, offering thanks to the universe for guiding him. In a sacred moment, a tear falls onto the sand, and at that spot, a scarab beetle, Egypt's divine symbol of God, crawls by. Santiago sees it as a sign and begins digging with full faith. As he digs, he recalls his entire journey, from the strange dream at the church. From meeting the gypsy woman Zejunor, King Melchizedek with Urim and Thummim, the swindle in Tangier, lessons from the crystal shop, insights from the Englishman, love with Fatima, the wind transformation challenge, and the alchemist's guidance. Each event was a vital link, each person a sign from the universe, all echoing the profound idea of Maktub, everything is written. While digging, Santiago is attacked by robbers, who search and beat him. Finding only a little gold, they think he's mad. To save his life, Santiago shares his dream. The leader laughs mockingly, revealing he too dreamed of a treasure under a sycamore tree in a Spanish church but dismissed it as nonsense. Realizing the treasure lies where his journey began, Santiago returns to Spain. He arrives at the abandoned church where he first dreamed, where the sycamore tree grows in the sacristy. Beneath it, he digs and finds a buried chest, filled with gold, gems, gold masks with red and white feathers, and jeweled statues, relics from ancient invaders. The treasure is a tangible reward for the spiritual journey he endured. Alongside it, Santiago finds Urim and Thummim, items he used only once in Tangier but symbols of faith and guidance. He places them in the chest, closing his journey. The Levant wind blows, carrying the desert's echo and the alchemist's whisper. The alchemist, whom Santiago fondly calls the old sorcerer, knew everything but never directly intervened. Looking at the sky, feeling Fatima's breath in the wind, Santiago smiles, not just for the treasure but for understanding. The greatest treasure is the journey of self-discovery, learning to hear his heart, and understanding the universe's language. Living fully his personal legend. Now, he is ready to return to the oasis, where his heart belongs, to fulfill his promise to the desert girl who always waited. The journey ends not with gold but with spiritual awakening, faith in Maktub, and love guiding him through all trials of destiny.